the economy headed for what looks like a full-blown recession. A lot of well-run companies have gotten very tough down. Take Waste Management, the head honcho in the North American waste disposal business, the stock that's been hammered from 126 to 97 since COVID came along. The problem, the garbage business is highly cyclical. When there's less economic activity, we produce less trash. That's especially true for construction. Now, when Waste Management reported this morning, the company delivered a really solid top and bottom line beat. Pricing held up and commercial collection volume stayed strong, at least until the second half of March. However, once the lockdowns went into effect, the commercial business took a real hit. Management had to pull their full-year forecast, but they made it clear they anticipate, quote, a significant decrease in 2020 revenue from planned levels as a result of COVID-19. And that's why the stock lost more than 2% today. So has Waste Management been punished enough, or is it a way to get in or stay cautious? Let's take a closer look with Jim Fish. He's the president and CEO of Waste Management. Get more insight into where his business is headed. Mr. Fish, welcome back to Mad Money.
Thanks, Jim. How are you?
Oh, good, Jim. Good to see you. And thank you. I know you spent a lot of time on your call. Your people are really out there. And a lot of times they are in the front line. And it looks like you have to do a great deal to protect them, and you're doing it.
Well, we are. I mean, look, probably half of our employees went home and, 20,000 we sent home, and they're working from home. And we did that in about 4 days, 5 days time. The rest are out on the front lines, and they're doing a great job out there. We've made sure that we put real strict social distancing protocols in and everything we're used to now. But yeah, it's been amazing the job that they've done.
Now, let me ask you, a lot of people say, hey, so many people are staying at home. They're throwing out a lot of trash. How could Waste Management not have blowout numbers? They don't understand that you are also heavily levered to commercial construction, which was basically shut down in this country.
Well, that's right. I mean, look, if you look at our business, we cover all sectors of the economy, and that includes, retail and restaurants and sporting venues. And so all of that falls within our commercial and our roll-off lines of business. And then, of course, our landfills as well. So while residential is fine in terms of volume, by the way, there's a lot more trash in each container now. Those are up probably 25%. So we got to go back to those guys and get a little more money. Because we didn't contemplate 25% more trash in their trash can. But the commercial business has obviously taken a big hit. And it's really part of why we didn't give guidance is because the visibility is pretty poor right now with respect to how that returns and when it returns.
Right. To me, when I read your call, I was thinking, it is a difficult balance. The president wants to get everybody to work. We also have a lot of companies that are involved with sickness and recognize that sickness is not going down in a lot of places. But then I see in your conference call, you talk about how Houston's a ghost town. I mean, this is one of the great growth engines of our country is where you're located. So my feeling is that maybe with the opening, there can be a pickup in commercial. You've seen it's just open. But what's your estimate or hope for this kind of reopening, even with a lot of social distancing, a lot of new rules?
I tell you how I'd break it down, Jim. I'd break it down into small business and big business.
Okay.
Big business is actually coming back. And I talked a little bit this morning on the call about how our roll-off business had been down at the low point of about down 20%. And now it's only down 11%. That sounds like a big number, but think about the clawback there. I mean, that's almost clawing back half of the downturn. But that's mostly big business there. Small business is in our commercial line, and the low point, the low water mark was about maybe down 16%. It's come back a point or a point and a half. I do think that if there is some good news here in the commercial line of business, it's that we only saw about 1% cancellations, and we have aggressively tried to pursue those customers to make sure that they are in fact going to try and continue. And so 1% is very low in terms of cancellations. What it tells me is small business is going to make a shot at coming back.
Right, but there's other businesses that we didn't even think of as businesses. Schools, sports. I mean, these are givens in America. School, of course, opens. No. Sports, well, that's got to be good. No. I mean, that's got to be a lot of business that just gets lost.
Look, I think 15% of our commercial line of business is schools. And obviously that got shut off literally overnight. So there's no waste coming out of the schools. And I'm hearing things like 40% of high school seniors are going to take a gap year, or, they're talking here in Houston, maybe about having when they go back, the high schools and middle schools go back next school year, that maybe they go every other day. Maybe juniors and seniors go on Monday and sophomores and freshmen go on Tuesday. That in theory would cut our waste in half. So the good news, though, is that I do think these businesses plan on coming back. And that's why you're seeing such a low true cancellation number. A lot of service reductions, about 10% of our total customers reduced service, but very few cancellations, which tells me they all want to make a run at coming back.
But how many will you have to give, say, a free month to?
So we put that out there because, look, I right as this thing started, I reached out to a couple of handfuls of CEOs that I know, big company CEOs, and said, look, folks, we have to support small business. I think they are at greatest danger here. So if we don't support them, beyond what the government's done, and appreciate what the feds have done, but we as big business have to support our smaller brethren there. And universally, those CEOs came back and said, absolutely agree with you. So that offer that we're giving, which is really a free month of service for affected small businesses. That's not big business or mid-sized business. Those are small businesses. The monogram shops and some of the restaurants. That we would give a free month their first month. And look, it's not going to be desperately expensive. I mean, it's going to cost us some money, but I think we established some real loyalty coming out of it. And that to me is kind of the long-term benefit to shareholders.
Well, I think that's an unbelievable move. I wish somewhat that is not being extended, Jim, by other companies. And I really appreciate for what you're doing. That is a highly unusual thing that you're doing.
Thanks.
All right. That's Jim Fish, the president and CEO of Waste Management. Run this business the way you got to run it for the long term. Stick with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.